Live from Studio 3B, it's the Pinky and the Brain Show.
The Pinky and the Brain, yeah, Pinky and the Brain. They started up a podcast so Jeremy can complain. They talk about their life, news, sports, and Twitter fights. Brandon's kinky, they're Pinky and the Brain, 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 brain.
What's up, podcasters? Jeremy Brownlee back. We are on episode 6 now. Can you believe it, Brandon? We made it all the way to number 6.
All the way to number 6. Let's try and make it to 666. I think that
Oh
should be
boy,
the goal.
Jesus. All right. Before we get started, I did want to take a quick minute. Let's pull the curtain back for just a second. As we record this, it is Friday, June, what is it, the 22nd? We've officially been on iTunes about a week, so we gang taped a few of these before they got released them all, and here we are 1 week later. And excuse me, we just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been downloading, who's been sharing it, who's been commenting. We've been getting a whole lot of feedback, and that really keeps us going, so please keep it up. We really do appreciate that. Now, what do we have to talk about today? This one's going to be a little bit different. Again, to pull the curtain back just a little, producer Travis is going to be out of town this weekend. We generally record on Saturday or Sunday. We all have regular jobs. That's just how it's got to work. It's Friday night. As I said, we're going to a Bone Thugs and Harmony concert tonight, so our schedule is kind of limited. So we're doing a pre-concert little show so we can keep pumping out this stuff. So Travis, how the hell are you tonight? Let's bring you in for just a second.
I'm doing great. Ready for this concert.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to be bringing in a couple of guests, but before we do that, let me kind of tell you exactly what I mean by this show is going to be a little bit different. As I said, we're bringing in a couple guests. We're going to the concert, so we're going to be taking the digital recorder out with us and recording some shenanigans while we're out and about, seeing if it's good. If it's not, you guys will probably never hear it, but I'm assuming you will because this is kind of what we do. So now that we've gotten the formalities out of the way, I'm first going to introduce Drake Washington. He's a good friend of ours. Drake, would you like to say hello to all the people out there in podcast land?
Good evening, people in podcast land.
All right, so we thought it'd be fun to bring him in. We've got a particular story to tell tonight that he was a big part of. We've got another friend on the phone that I'll be bringing in just a second. But I also wanted to bring in Drake for the reason that football season is right around the corner. We're going to be bringing him in on a segment to do some daily fantasy football stuff. We'll probably make it its own separate episode, so those of you who don't give a goddamn about fantasy, we won't make you suffer through that.
Brandon.
But real quick, since you're on, training camp's right around the corner. Why don't you tell everybody, so who do you root for, Drake?
Well, I think it's well known. I am one of the biggest Kansas City Chiefs fans.
Oh, that is bullshit.
Now, I may have other teams that I will root for on occasion.
Well, just let's get it over with. He's a Raiders fan living in Kansas City. There's not many of them, but most of them are contrarian assholes. Now, I don't think that's what Drake is, but he's got a couple of sons now, and he's got to be one of the only people because now his sons are growing up in Kansas City. They're going to have to be Chiefs fans. So he's one of the weirdos that splits his time, his fandom between the Raiders and the Chiefs. God help us all.
Sacrilegious.
It's just not right.
It's a strange dichotomy, but it's my life.
All right.
It's
So
my cross to bear.
we got training camp coming up. We'll bring him back on. We'll get into the daily fantasy later on. But now we got a special guest joining us on the phone. This guy has been one of me and Brandon's friends since way, way back in the day. Our brother from another mother. Chris is on the line. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. Thank you very much for having me.
I would love to thank you for coming on. So let's just get a quick backstory. We've been friends since, Jesus, probably back in like 1996 or so when we were just some 16-year-old idiots. Now we're 30-something idiots, but... So how long has it been now since you've been in the Navy?
Over 17 years.
17 years. Jesus Christ. I never would have thought when you signed up all those years ago. I was certain you'd be back home in 6 months with some sort of, what do they call that when they kick you out dishonorably? A dishonorable discharge?
Failure to adapt.
All right. So what have you worked your way up to? What's your current rank?
I'm currently a chief in the Navy.
Very nice. That's very, very commendable. No, I don't think a lot of people make it that far, so I would like to congratulate you on that. Now, you know how we do here on the Pinky and Brain Show. There's always a story, and there's always a reason we gotta. If we're bringing somebody on, you know there's a reason why. So this story actually even has a name to it. It's called The Escapade and the Escalade. So take us back. What year was it when you got married, when we came out there, and where were you stationed at that time?
2008, and that was in Indian Head, Maryland, which is the suburbs of D.C., about 20 miles south.
Right. So.
Oh, and actually, it's funny. I just remembered to start that because you were talking about how the proximity to DC. Remember how immediately off the plane we were so excited about meeting you that we all hugged it out and then left our suits sitting literally in front of the airport and had to drive all the way back.
I forgot we had to track those things down. So this trip started with a bang.
Literally, that was like the first fucking 5 minutes that we landed, and we left the suitcase there and we had gotten back to Indian Head by the time we actually remembered and had to drive all the way back. And of course,
we left them in the taxi or something, or what was it?
It was on the front.
You left them sitting on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
On the sidewalk when we got into his car.
Brandon saw Chris drop the suits, hugged the man, got in the car, everybody left.
That was Ashley's first introduction with everyone, and she's like, great, these are your friends.
Yeah.
Because we had, was it your rehearsal dinner that we were already late for? And then this threw like an hour-long kink into it, and we were already running late?
Oh, so that means when we stopped at that bar for drinks, we really shouldn't have done that.
No.
You got to live life a little.
All right, so that started with a bang. Now, before we get into the climax of this story, on your wedding day, I have to say there was one of the most awkward best men speeches ever given in the history of best men speeches. I don't have a great recollection of it, so I'm going to let you guys take it away. Chris or Drake, Brandon, whoever it's got a recollection, please throw it out there.
All I know is you motherfuckers told me it would be a good idea to tell this story.
Oh, no, that's false.
Oh, yes. Well, Drake did at least.
I think it's important to gauge your crowd before telling a story. And, I mean, what was there, 100 people in there, 50 people? And the 5 or 6 of us were the only ones in the whole place with, like, 6 or 7 drinks in front of them.
There's a lot of white hair. It was a lot of older people. And mind you, before the best man toast, we drank the bar out of Jägermeister. Literally drank the bar.
I do remember that.
That was
vaguely.
even before this. So that influences your judgment a little bit.
It does. So if anybody remembers the particulars, what story did you go? I think there was a thieving beer story that was talked about.
Yeah, technically it was a robbery is how it was reported. And so they used to keep beer. Dillon's, which would be the equivalent of a Price Chopper or a grocery store, they made the foolish mistake of keeping large displays of beer literally right by the front door, basically like, come and get me. And so we would pull up and just run in and grab a 30-pack and run off. And in this particular time, we did it, but they came running out after us. There were some people cleaning like the little foyer area, so there was actually literally workers right there. So they came running out. Our buddy Aaron, who we don't really hang around anymore, but a high school friend, he lost his shoe, and we were like, sorry, bro, that thing is just gone. So we fucking bolted, and we get back. My mom calls me and she says, I just got a phone call from the police. They said that my car has been used in a robbery. But here's the funny thing. It was a green 4-door Escort. The police called her. They had the correct license plate, but they had the complete wrong car. They said it was a red Mustang. So whoever called in the details that saw us speeding off got the license plate correct, and then the make and color and model of the vehicle.
All right, so wrong. That's a stirring best man speech.
So my mom, being the champ that she is, was covered for us, and my car is down in the base, or is down in the garage. It's fine. And then immediately called me and was like, "You guys need to get home. The car's been used in a robbery. You guys are fucking idiots."
All right, let's get back to the toast though.
So
I don't think that's a bad
So,
summary. I feel like that's
No, I think it's
exactly
pretty
how
good.
I think that's exactly how the
Right,
best
Chris,
man speech went.
Chris, is that how you remember the speech?
Yeah, and then other than that, it was dead silence. You could hear a pin drop in there.
And it's
Half
funny.
the audience is like police officers and whatnot. So.
Yeah. And I was like, and do you remember the photographer even took a picture of me bombing? And it is the most awkward laugh ever. I mean, it should be like a meme for fucking
Do you think
bombing.
we could get that picture and post it on the website?
Oh, yeah, 'cause
there's
it's
a lot
still
of
on
the
Facebook.
there's a lot of the wedding pictures on Facebook. I started combing through them so we could put that kind of stuff up on the website. So we'll have that up.
Yeah.
Believe you me. All right, so now let's get to the crazy part of the story.
Yeah.
We finished the reception. As you said, we drank them out of Jägermeister. So we go back to Chris's place. Chris, how does your memory of this go? I think you invited a handful of people back there. I don't know, 10 or 20 of us back there, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, we had the reception for like close friends and family. Ended up being a few of the guys I work with came back. We were, I don't think we were grilling. I think just having dinner of some sorts and lots of libations. And at some point in time, someone's like, "Hey, we need to go make a beer run." Handed up some keys.
Yeah, so
And then,
here's the funny part. As you said, libations, we ran straight out of those, so we needed some more.
Needed some more.
Now, I've often wondered just what in the hell went on through whose mind exactly to send the out-of-towner off to drive in a random-ass state that he'd never been to get more beer. I've often wondered, how did that play out?
So I think there's only one road. So like you leave my neighborhood and you make a left and it's right there. And there's one road that goes through town. So I don't know. In my state of mind, I figured one road wouldn't be too hard to navigate.
Too hard to navigate, yes. And you would be correct if I were a normal person.
All right, so Brandon gets the keys. It's time to go re-up the alcohol
Allegedly.
stock.
Yes, allegedly.
Well, this case was ultimately dismissed, which we'll get to in just a minute. But
Oh, that's a whole nother story in that.
so
Hold on. I feel like there was a negotiation period at first. It was decided that Brandon was going to the liquor store.
okay.
And Chris, for whatever reason, decided it was okay to send Brandon to the liquor store.
And-
I think it was one of those things
and
where
then
I
the-
didn't feel that drunk.
The problem was, how does he get there?
Right.
And Chris thought it was perfectly okay to take the Escalade. I feel like Chris's wife may have disagreed.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I feel like she had known Brandon for all of about 8 hours.
Yeah, I don't even know how long you guys had the car at this point.
That whole robbery speech just painted me in the wrong picture with a lot of his family.
Matter of minutes.
Well,
minutes.
if that robbery toast / speech didn't do it, what's about to happen next certainly did. So you guys, who all was in the car who went to the liquor store?
It was just me and Ryan.
Ryan,
Just me
okay.
and Ryan, another one of our buddies you guys will probably hear
All
in
right,
later
so-
podcasts.
That would mean me, Drake, and Chris are all standing in his backyard.
As we run to
And-
go get the liquor real
and
quick.
we're just having a conversation. Next thing I know, it's sirens as if like Pearl Harbor is being attacked. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, they sound like tornado sirens in the Midwest. So that's like they don't have a paid fire service because the town is so small. So it's all volunteer. So the siren goes off and everybody in town knows like they need to go get the ambulance and the fire truck because it's time to work.
And
Grab buckets and water.
the most beautiful part of this was the sirens go off. Chris looks at me and says, "What the fuck did he do?" Instantaneously knew what the hell the score was with this one. So I don't know exactly what happens next. I think Chris, you or I must have gotten a phone call
Yeah.
from them. Was it you?
I don't remember who it was. Yeah, we got a phone call, and 2 minutes down the road was where the incident
All right,
occurred.
so Brandon, why don't you take it from here and tell us, to the best of your recollection, what happened? As I take it, you made it to the store,
Yes.
got what you needed, and take it from there.
So it was me and then Ryan and Shotgun. We made it there, and the road there it's one of those. It's a 4-lane highway, but it's so basically there's 2 lanes, and then there's a huge median in the middle, and it's like one of those big medians. Like it goes up, maybe 2 or 3 feet. It's got grass on it and stuff. So it was a very big median. If you're looking at it, you can't see the other side of the road.
It was 6 inches tall. Let's not embellish here. It was a 6-inch
one of those-
standard median.
It was a painted median. No, so we pull in, we get the booze, everything's cool, and we're pulling out, and I go left, right, and I pull into the right lane. So basically, it's a 2-lane one-way. We're going in the right lane of that 2-way, the wrong way, and we see headlights probably about a quarter of a mile away from us, and we look at each other and we're like,
just in case the listener didn't catch that, he's now turned left and driving the wrong way down the highway.
yes, in the right lane, because I'm not an idiot. I was in the correct lane, in the wrong lane. And so anyways, so we see headlights in our lane, and we're like, holy shit, what the fuck do we do? And I'm like, I'm not gonna wreck Chris's Escalade by fucking driving up over the fucking median. So we're just like, hopefully they see us. At the last minute, they finally see us, and they fucking swerve, and we swerve, and we just clip each other at the corner of each other.
No.
All right, hold on.
No. You didn't just swerve. Your intention was to keep driving down the road. Ryan recognized suddenly that you were about to go into a head-on collision, reached over, grabbed the wheel, and pulled you and corrected it and pulled you out of the way of the oncoming car.
But you weren't there, so how do you know that's true?
Well, I'm going to take the guy's word who didn't give the creepo speech and then total somebody else's Escalade. All right, so
Fair enough,
So we get the
assholes.
call. Chris, somebody got sent to go pick, I don't know, see what the hell. Did
Yeah.
you go on that trip?
Yeah, so it was me, my wife, and then Drake Washington also came with us. I think the 3 of us went down there.
Yeah.
And then, I think, I think, Drake, you could probably give the better...
Oh, it's exactly what you
happened
think
after
it
that.
would be. I mean, pull up, there's a half-wrecked Escalade. I don't know, 3 or 4 cop cars with the cherries flashing, and our hero of the story, Brandon, just standing there looking confused with a couple cops next to him. You know?
Yes. Acting sober.
All right, so flash forward. I'm sure there was a field sobriety test. Did you take it?
Well,
All right, sorry, go ahead.
so that's where Drake needs to interject, because I think Brandon was talking to the police officer, and then Drake walked over and was like, don't tell him anything, plead the fifth, don't say anything, and then the cop was telling Drake to shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Yeah. When I got there, Brandon was singing like a canary. He was just telling him his whole life story. Yes, officer, I left the suit right at the airport. Yes, I went through the 175 of Jaeger. Yeah, it was my idea to go to the liquor store, and
It was like
as his
Goonies.
counsel,
This is the 3rd grade.
as his counsel, I felt it best to inform Brandon that you don't have to give this guy the whole story for the last 12 hours.
Oh man, yeah.
So what had happened too was originally like the little local cop showed up, and he was cool. He's like, yeah, I could understand how it's kind of confusing because there was no sign that said one way or anything like that. There was no sign, so I was like, I get where you come. Yeah, he's like, I can get where you would come from.
Just
but
the 75,000 pounds of concrete going in each direction.
Literally the road that you just drove on to get to the gas station. But he was cool. But then they had to call in. Chris, do you remember? Was it the state troopers? Maybe they had to call in.
That's a state highway there.
Yeah.
Even though it's a small town and small roads. It's a state highway.
So the little local cop was being cool. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't buying my story of being sober, but he was at least being cool and sympathetic. And then they brought in the state dicks, and he was just threw me in handcuffs. Rightfully so, I guess.
So, all right. So Brandon gets hauled off to jail. We then go back. I'm pretty sure we finished tying one on for the rest of that night.
That's an understatement.
I think this. Yeah, I think we went ahead and grabbed all the booze right on out of that car.
Oh yeah, I mean it was bought. I don't know why we'd do anything other.
I think we did Jaeger bombs for the rest of the night.
Jaeger bombs.
I slept in the drunk take with fucking beer farts.
I slept with my face.
Great.
I slept with my face plastered to Chris's carpet. I had to peel it off of the goddamn carpet the next morning.
I slept in a toddler bed.
All right, and then the next morning, Brandon's in jail. I get tasked with the job of calling his parents to inform them
Oh God.
And of course, I call, his mom answers, and I'm like, I really don't know how to tell you this, but
The good news is your car hasn't been used in a robbery, but the bad news is
Brandon's
it could have been.
Brandon's in jail, and Chris's family vehicle has been totaled. And the first thing she says to me, why would you let him do that? As if I had any fucking say in the matter.
Always on my side. Glenda's a saint.
So we, I don't know. You're in there at least half the next day while we work on bailing you out, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Sleeping on concrete.
We bring you back to Chris's, at which point you were like, fuck this. I'm getting a flight out of here.
Yeah,
I just want to go
I
home.
was adamant about
I'm
flying
depressed.
home.
This
Yeah.
sucks. It took
Yeah, you're like, I'm not drinking anymore. We're like, no, Jaeger bombs.
it took a little arm twisting, more than I'm used to with Brandon, that's for sure. But we eventually got the Jaeger bombs flowing again, and
after 2 shots, I was like,
we
let's
had some
fucking do
more
this.
fun for the rest of that weekend. It was a great trip. My iPod Touch ended up getting thrown in a big old thing of rib grease by some douchebag.
Yep, there was some scuffling, a little bit of scuffling.
I guess we shouldn't have. I shouldn't have jumped in with what's his name that was beating him up, Chris.
Oh yeah, well, we'll use his first name, Andrew.
Andy Foster.
Andy Foster.
Oh, okay. We'll use
There
his
you go.
That's all right. Hey, only a handful of people listen to these things, so who gives a shit? All right, Chris. Well, that kind of wraps up the wedding story. Is there anything else you want to say while we still have you here on the line? Anything at all?
No, I think that's it.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you on. We'll bring you back. I want to have you as our war correspondent here in the future.
Yes, our war hawk. Our war hawk.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris. I love you, brother. Thanks for calling in.
All right,
we'll
love you
talk
all.
to you
Have a good
later.
night.
Love you, brother.
Be safe.
You too, brother.
I've noticed something lately. Have you guys, is it just me, or do you notice that people on the road seem to be getting even more and more aggressive?
I agree.
I mean,
Insane.
it wasn't that long ago, just here in Kansas City, a guy, I think he had just gotten back from Afghanistan or someplace, managed to stay alive there, drives, I don't know, 5 minutes on 435, gets out of his car, and some asshole hops out and fucking stabs him.
I heard about that.
I mean, Jesus Christ, people, what the fuck is wrong with you, okay? I don't know. The last few weeks I've noticed this. I've gotten flipped off no less than about 7 or 8 times. I drive a goddamn Ford hybrid. What is it? It's a goddamn Fusion, okay? I'm not exactly lighting the world on fire. I'm not
That's an aggressive looking vehicle, man. You
Fast
gotta
and
watch out.
Furious over here, cutting people off. But I've noticed lately, man, I'm getting flipped off. It's ridiculous. Well,
Happens to me too.
That happened to Ashley not just a week or 2 ago. She pulled up to a 4-way stop, and it seems like nobody knows how to work a 4-way stop anymore. People just kind of like, yeah, I feel like it's my turn, so I'm going to go now.
Yep.
Well, she went. It was her turn. She was right, but there was a lady behind her who was in a Corvette that didn't go in turn. So this big ass truck pulled up beside, like, it's 2 lanes. He went into the opposite lane, oncoming traffic, right next to this girl, and was flipping her off, honking at her, veering over into her. Like, people are crazy.
this is a dude.
Oh, yeah.
This is a dude.
Some middle-aged dude in a big-ass truck.
Yeah, because
Giving shit to, like, some, like, younger girl in a Corvette. Now, she was
Ladies,
probably a bitch, but...
Let's see. Last week, 2 different things happened. One, I'm trying to merge over. I don't cut this guy off by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? I take a right-hand turn, and I'm driving. I'm at a stoplight. It's a full 2 to 3 minutes later. I switch lanes again and drive off, and I see this fucking idiot behind me flipping me off from 2 to 3 minutes ago. I have no fucking idea what I even did. This is the type of aggression people are driving around with.
they hold a grudge, man.
But, okay, so now their aggression is rubbing off on me. I'm going to pick up Jasmine from school. I'm pulling around the parking lot. I can't find her. I'm starting to already get all pissy because she's not out. And I fucking hate driving up to that stupid fucking school to pick her up. It's a clusterfuck. It's just annoying. So I pull back out. I'm looking to see if she's already started walking home. We don't live that far from the school. So I'm waiting to pull back into traffic and loop back around and re-enter the parking lot, okay? Now, mind you, I would be turning onto the right-hand lane, a right-hand lane in which they're doing construction, so this lane ends in about, 100 feet. And on top of that, it's a red light where the lane ends. So there's a guy coming. He's pretty far out. And so I'm like, well, I'm good to go. He's got a red light and this lane is ending. I pull out. And you know those ass wipes that if they see you have to turn in front of them or you pull out in front of them a little bit, you can tell. You can just tell. They don't slow down or take their foot off. They accelerate because, by God, they're going to teach you a fucking lesson. Exactly. How dare you have the audacity to pull out in front of His Majesty. Exactly. Fucking douchebag. Anyways, so I pull out. Because I'm just going to, mind you, turn right back into the parking lot. Yeah. He starts flailing his arms all around, and now I'm at a fever pitch. I'm ready to fucking blow because these types of douches, I can't fucking take it anymore. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I slammed on my brakes and I let this motherfucker hit me. Fuck because you want to throw a temper tantrum? Then this is what's going to happen, you stupid bitch. I let him hit me. I pulled right on ahead, turned into the parking lot I was going to, let him turn in. I get out. I go back, I look where he hit my car, I look at him, I say, I'm good if you're good. He goes, my car's fine. I go, now what the fuck were you doing there with your arms flailing all around? You're coming in hot. I'm right in a fucking front of a school. We're not exactly on the freeway. The lane ends and it's a red light and you're flailing your arms around like a fucking asshole. He just sits there mouth agape like a fucking mouth-breathing retard that he is.
And to our listening audience, can I remind you that Jeremy is a black belt in BJJ. And so this guy, unbeknownst to himself, had wrestled a rattlesnake, and he did not even know.
Well, you see, and that's the thing is I thought I had this vision of martial arts when I started. Oh, Mr. Miyagi, I'm going to find some sort of mental enlightenment and never want to beat anybody up again. And it's the exact fucking opposite. Now I'm tortured for the rest of my life knowing I could beat the shit out of this dipshit, but I can't because I'm going to go to jail. So thanks a lot for nothing.
Nothing enrages people more than road rage, right? I mean, it's insane. Nothing gets people angrier than road rage.
And you know what? It's so weird. You're behind the wheel, and so you assume, oh, I've got some sort of power that you're almost, you're in a way you're like pulled out of reality entirely. It's like you think it's a video game. Like you can just act however you want, and then you're just off to the next level and you don't have to deal with these people anymore.
Well, it's almost like a message board, right? You can leave a message on an internet board and, you know, you almost anonymously.
Or like a tweet.
People are in a car.
Like a tweet.
They can just swerve at you and they go on about the day.
This isn't Twitter, motherfucker. Yeah, exactly. You don't just type that tweet out, send it, and then nobody can find you. I'm right fucking next to you in the car.
Yeah. Guess what? Traffic just stopped and I literally just pulled up next to you and I'm fucking mean mugging the shit out of you.
And all these fucking keyboard tough guys and these tough guys behind the wheel, as soon as you step out of the car, their butthole puckers up. It's just infuriating.
It is.
So I'm imploring you people out there driving, take a fucking breath.
Yeah.
When somebody pulls out in front of you, it's not a personal attack. Believe me, you're not that important. Nobody's thinking about you. People are thinking about picking up their kids. People are thinking about what they have to make for dinner that night.
Exactly.
The last thing they're thinking about is your insignificant, stupid ass.
Exactly.
Okay? So
this person made a weird move in front of me. I'm going to carry this into my adulthood.
I'm going to get so angry.
All right. So, I think I've vented enough on that one. Here's where we are going to debut the first installment of Underrated Asshole. So,
underrated asshole.
What underrated asshole is exactly, excuse me, is we take people that are assholes. They're a little underrated, as we said before. We got to bring it to light. Give the devil their due. Get them the fuck up out of here. So, pardon me. I'm going to start this one off. Underrated asshole. I'm talking to you, left-hand turn guy. You know who you are. I'm sitting, waiting to make a left-hand turn. It's a left-hand turn yield type of a situation. And you are a good 3 to 7 feet behind the line, let alone not even passing it into the intersection like any respectable human being would do.
That would like to actually turn.
So let me see. What do you think happens in this scenario? You sit there, yellow, yellow, yellow. Nobody's getting through. The light turns red, and what do? Oh, all of a sudden, you get a little shot of courage, and you decide to blast right on through the intersection while leaving the 75 rest of us behind you to just hold our dick in our hand.
You make it just in the nick of time, like fucking goddamn.
Well, you do know what that's called, right?
What is that?
It's called the Pittsburgh left.
Oh, fuck Pittsburgh.
The Pittsburgh.
See, I knew it.
You said the Brooklyn left. You were right. You were close. The Brooklyn. It's the Pittsburgh left.
It's
I'll tell you,
same difference.
I can't stand Pittsburgh. I've never even been to Pittsburgh, but just given the fact that the Chiefs have never been able to. I went to a goddamn playoff game. What was that? A year or two ago. You might remember the game out there. This would be the game in which the Chiefs took the league's leading offense of the Steelers with Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, and the like.
Ben Roethlisberger
and
seems
scored
like a pretty good guy.
They held them without a touchdown.
Yeah.
They held them without a touchdown, and the Chiefs still lost. Okay, and I went to that game. It was rainy. It was cold. You know, it's a playoff game, so it's in January. And my worst fear always about paying money to go to a game is, what if we lose? Now I'm going to be paying hundreds of dollars to go have a shit experience?
I've never thought about that before, really.
But, so yeah, fuck you, Pittsburgh. But back to it, Travis.
Making a left turn just as the light turns green, pulling out before the oncoming traffic. Most people in Pittsburgh allow and encourage this behavior. Quote, that jack-off wouldn't give me the Pittsburgh left, unquote.
I'll tell you who did give him the Pittsburgh left is Ben Roethlisberger when he dropped a digit in that chick when he was in the bathroom. That's called the Pittsburgh right.
Yeah. That's the Pittsburgh middle.
All right, so that's the first guy. So Pittsburgh left guy, eat a can of dicks. Nobody likes you.
Yep.
Either get out into the middle of the intersection so a few more people can get out and get on with their lives, or just go burn in hell someplace. March yourself right off the fucking Grand Canyon. We don't have a place for you here. You're an underrated asshole.
Nobody
Fuck
likes you.
you.
Fuck you.
All right. Next. Brandon, I think you had a good one. Let's hear your underrated asshole of the week.
So I've been encountering this more and more often, and it just drives me absolutely crazy. So you see somebody, and they've got the self-checkout lines, and you're starting to see those more prevalent. Seems like everywhere you go, they're starting to see them more and more.
Which, I'm going to stop you right there. I love these checkout.
Yes, I agree.
The more things you can add into my life where I do not have to interact with a human being, the better.
Yes.
Exactly.
If I could make it from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed without ever interacting with a human being, I would be on cloud fucking 9. Go ahead.
And I agree with you there. I mean, fucking perfect solution, right? You bypass all human interaction. You do your own thing, especially if you have a small amount of groceries, right? Well, what about these fucking assholes that have like 37 items that want to bring it in there? And then they're fucking looking up, oh, what is the code for kiwis? I don't know. You got to put it on the scale, bro. They're not even putting on the scale. They still got to do it.
You know what I notice? It's always these assholes that come through. They're making, I don't know, like homemade hummus or something. So they've got about 74 different types of produce. Mm-hmm. It's all in the clear bag. Nobody knows what the fuck it is. They're sitting here with, they look like Tom Brady referring to his armband, calling the next play, trying to look up produce numbers.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is this a red potato or a new potato? They look like the fucking same thing.
Meanwhile, I'm behind you in line. I look like a weird combination between, like, if you gave an 11-year-old $50 and sent him to Walmart and a guy who's high out of his mind. So my cart is made up of things like a frozen burrito, a frozen pizza. I've got some like ho-hos or ding-dongs. And then, I don't know, I'll throw in some brownies just to top it off. So I've got like 4 or 5 items. I'm high. I just want to get back home. But no.
Nope.
Here you are. Here you are making a homemade fucking goulash, and now we've got to sit here behind you. But
I'm going to watch you.
Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I think we covered it.
Okay.
So they just these fucking asshats.
So
they do that.
So to you,
and they do it. They have and you look at them, and here's the thing. We've all done something. You know that you're kind of pushing the rules on something, and you do it, and you kind of give that nod to people, like I'm sorry. But these assholes,
no.
They're completely unabashed, and
they do the opposite.
Yeah,
they look over their shoulder, they see you with your like 2 or 3 items.
Yep,
and they decide, nope, I'm still gonna go ahead of this guy.
Exactly. Look at them judging me, and they go the opposite direction.
All right, well to you, Mr. 37 items in the self-checkout lane. You're a fucking asshole. Nobody likes you. I got one more. And then Travis. I got one more, Travis, and then we'll hit the news. So get that news lined up. Couples that share Facebook accounts. Nothing.
Oh my God.
Which one cheated?
Nothing is sadder. Nothing is more pathetic than a guy that gets duped in to sharing a Facebook account with his wife because she's, I don't know, I assume wildly insecure, or he is a poon hound and cannot be trusted even with a Facebook account.
Poon hound. So rarely you hear that word.
I don't think I've heard anybody say poon in 10 years.
Well,
but I'm glad you said that.
I mean,
mean,
hound.
What?
It's great.
Can you think
hound,
of something more demoralizing if you're a husband than not even being able to have your own Facebook account?
I can't. I mean, you talk about a lack of trust, honestly, and not talking smack, but like you talk about a lack of trust. I mean, what else could it point to?
Just understand this, folks that share Facebook accounts together. Nobody likes you. That's why you're not getting invited to parties. Nobody contacts you anymore. Get over it. Get your own Facebook accounts. Live your life. Stop acting like children. You're assholes.
Asshole.
All right. Now, before we jump right into the news, right quick, don't forget, if you want to shoot us a line, you want to ask us a question, you just want to rant, tell us how horrible we are, anything like that, any of the above, that is talk@pinkyandthebrainshow.com. Talk@pinkyandthebrainshow.com. Let's do some news. Travis, hit it. All right. Travis, what's our first news story?
Okay, so I came across this, and this happened this year. I can't take this seriously. Some Oregonians, that's what you call that, right?
Or I don't know. I've never
origami.
I don't think I've ever been to the Middle East.
I think it's Oregon trailers.
Some Oregonians.
I still haven't got over the fact that I died of dysentery.
I'm telling you,
way back in the 4th grade. I've never quite been right with that, so I have never been to Oregon, all because of that.
I think we're all harboring some ill feelings.
Well, floppy disks. Okay, so some Oregonians in panic mode after a law allowing motorists to pump their own gas takes effect. So basically, what's going on is recently in Oregon, they passed a law that allowed people.
Now, is this allowed or mandated it? Like they still have the full service, or they took away the full service completely?
Well, that's a good question, because I'll tell you what. So I was traveling, I think it was New Jersey, and I was traveling, and this is somewhat recent, maybe 2 years ago, and they actually had the same thing in New Jersey, and it was, at least in the town that I was in, New Jersey, it was the same thing. It was full service only, and you had to have somebody come and pump your gas. And as a visitor, it was fucking weird, because I would pull up and I would try and get out, and then some guy would come over and no, and you'd always explain it. It's fucking weird.
That really that really throws a curve in our whole making it from wake to sleep without interacting with human beings.
Yeah, basically what happened is some rural Oregon counties, they are for the first time allowed to pump their own gas. So they had previously not been allowed to pump their own gas.
See, that's kind of you got to, obviously that phrase is kind of key there.
Yeah.
Allowed. So
Yeah.
that implies that they wanted to. Right?
Well,
I mean, right? That's what I understand. That implies that they wanted to, and they were not given that
What
right.
are they afraid of? Exactly. I mean, pumping your own gas. This is bizarre on all fronts. I don't get it.
The way that it was explained to me in New Jersey is they were afraid of people improperly pumping gas and exploding.
Improperly.
Yeah, well, but you've seen videos. They're rare, but you've seen people of using cell phones to look in gas cans. I mean, it's rare, but I'm thinking it's one of those things where that one exception sets the rule.
All right. Well, Travis, let us know. How did that turn out?
Well, apparently Mike Perrone, this is his statement, quote, "I've lived in this state all my life and I refuse," in all caps, "to pump my own gas. I had to do it once in California while visiting my brother and almost died doing it."
Well, my God, Your Majesty, you refuse to pump your own gas.
This is a service only qualified people should perform. I will literally park at the pump and wait until someone pumps my gas. I can't even do it. Unquote. From Mike Perrone, I assume from Oregon.
All right. What's next on the list for Oregonians, as you say? Are they going to allow people to cut their own steaks? I mean, what comes next? Are they going to allow guys to put their own condoms on before they fuck them wives, or do they need a certified professional to come in and take care of that for them?
Well, apparently Tina Good, quote, says, "Not a good idea. There are lots of reasons to have an attendant helping. One is they need a job, too."
Keep going, because I think there's more gyms in here.
"Many people are not capable of knowing how to pump gas and the hazards of not doing it correctly. Besides, I don't want to go to work smelling of gas when I get it on my hands or clothes. I agree, very bad idea," unquote. That's Tina
my
Good
God.
from Oregon.
I feel like we're trapped in like some strange episode of the Twilight Zone or something. Okay, I've been pumping gas since the tender age of 15. I can't believe
before that you rode with your parents and you'd get out and pump their gas.
I can't even believe my parents were so careless to have let me pump my own gas. Like, any number of horrible things could happen. I'm
It's a
picturing
surprise you're alive today.
people are running around. They've gotten themselves on fire. They're driving off with the pump still into their gas tank.
I've done that before, by the way.
Oh, shut the hell up.
I have. Here's the good thing. They have here's the thing. So I was really stoned. And luckily at the top of where it connects to, I guess, the top of there's like a quick disconnect.
Oh, yeah,
So
it's like a safety
that hose,
thing.
that hose will just fucking pull right off. I did that once, unfortunately.
See, you can't be trusted. Now, next thing I know, we're going to have here in the Kansas City Metro that they're going to outlaw people being able to pump their own gas, thanks to Brandon.
Well, Sandy Franklin says, "I don't even know how to pump my gas. I am 62, native Oregonian. I say no thanks. I don't want to smell like gasoline."
Can you imagine making it from age 0 to 62 and thinking pumping gas was too tall of an order? All right. I can't take this story anymore.
I just wonder what that woman's day-to-day life is.
All right, I can't take this one anymore. Let's move on to the next one. Brandon, what do you got over there?
All right, so we have a news story here that is local to our native state of Missouri. We actually straddle the Missouri and Kansas line for our listeners, so you will hear news from Kansas and Missouri.
Let me hop in there right quick. Yes, for people outside of the area, everyone thinks... Well, I don't know what everyone thinks. A lot of people think Kansas City is in Kansas. Some people think it's in Missouri. People don't really understand. So we have a road called State Line that runs down the Kansas and Missouri border. I would say, what do you think? Roughly 80% of Kansas City is in Missouri. About 20% of the actual city is in Kansas.
I would agree.
But the overall metro area encompasses... both pretty equally, and it's about You know,
I would agree.
a few million people. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, a few million. Yeah, I don't know.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
So this is going to be on the Missouri side, which is where I reside.
Resard. I'm a Resard-tard.
I'm a Resard.
Let's try that again.
I'm a Missouri Resard.
Missouri.
So this is going to happen on Missouri. So Missouri, this is the title of the article. Missouri lawmakers let medicinal marijuana die in last days of session. So one thing here, it's kind of a hot button issue here in Missouri, is we're pushing for hopefully medical, marijuana legalization. We're not even looking necessarily for recreational.
Exactly. So this isn't full blown for anybody who wants to smoke recreationally. This is specific to medical.
Medical, and I think this is even more, even kind of more focused towards CBD oils that can help seizure patients and things like that. So not even smoking, right? So yeah. So but a step forward.
But a step nonetheless.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
So anyways, this was issued from Jefferson City, which is the capital of Missouri. For those that are not
for anybody who wants absolutely worthless trivia information,
because Missouri is one of the coolest states in the nation. We all know this. So a push in the Missouri legislature to legalize medical marijuana has gone up in smoke. The legislature's chance to make Missouri the 30th state to legalize medical marijuana died in a conference committee 2 days before the end of session, leaving this issue up to voters to decide in November. So it looks like basically the lawmakers are kind of leaving it up to us. They seem to keep wanting to let this bill die.
All right, so here's my thing. I kind of looked over this article, and yeah, what you're saying is exactly right. One of the senators or congressmen or whatever had a bill. It didn't go through. They argued about it, so now they're putting it up for a vote.
Yes.
My question is this. What the fuck are we paying you assholes for? If you can't figure it out and your next line of business is to give us the right to vote on it, what the fuck are you taking a salary for?
Exactly.
I can't fucking stand these idiots. All right. They propose a bill. They don't really get behind it. They're appeasing their constituency.
Yeah.
Until it gets enough meat in the bill to where they're basically being bribed is when they'll really start to try to hammer it home. So you know what? Who are the senators? Give me some names of the senators in this article, please.
So we had, it's sponsored by Senator Bill Eagle.
Senator Bill Eagle. I want to, thank you for having your heart in the right place, but go fuck yourself. What are you being paid for, asshole? Get something done.
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ. An overwhelming majority of the country wants this. You are not serving the people that elected you.
Yes.
Continue.
And I'm looking at the article here. So it said representative added a marijuana bill amendment. So Senator Jason Holzman, a Kansas City Democrat who has sponsored legislation in support of medical marijuana in the past, said he feared Neely's amendment would run into opposition in the Senate unless it was revised. So we have senators in the chamber who simply won't sit down and allow medical cannabis to come to vote, Holzman said. I was willing to put in time.
You're getting in the way. You're getting in the way. And for what? To what end?
Yes.
It's what the people want. And you're being paid to serve the people, yet you're going to go waste all of our fucking time, all this tax money, for what?
For what? That's what is the end game? What is the end game?
So, out of all this is they tried a little bit, couldn't figure it out, and now it's going up for a vote. This sounds a lot like what I have to do with my fucking 3-year-old.
That's fucking politics.
Jesus Christ, people.
Yeah. And it's you know how it is politics these days. Sometimes it's not even it's not the vested interest of your
constituency.
Exactly.
It's what can I get out of this before I'm willing to pass it.
Exactly.
And so again, what was the two senators and
so it looks like it is so it does mention Representative Jim Neely, but it said, I think he is the one that actually...
He's the one that proposed the bill that he and everyone else knew would fail.
Yes.
Who's the other guy?
So Bill Eagle, it looks like it was sponsored by, but Jason Holzman sponsored it. We have senators in the... Yeah, this is. It looks like this article is really mostly just noting the people that actually sponsored it. It doesn't look like it's really talking much about opposition. I don't know if you can peruse through that.
Now
but I think it's looking for. I don't think it's mostly looking for the people that were proponents for it. So
it's pathetic, really. It's a sad state of affairs. But I just like, again, for the record, to say, I'm glad you're at least trying, but it seems a little fake. And I never thought I would be 37 years old. This goddamn debate, I'm sorry, I'm 38. This goddamn debate has been going on for how long? And we're still marching toward this when everybody wants it. Can we just pass this shit and be on with our lives? Can we make some fucking tax revenue, please? I've driven through Missouri. Your roads suck dick for coke.
How about legalize and not tax it? Just a thought.
I don't care. Tax it. Get some more money to the schools.
Is anything legal and not taxed?
I don't like taxes.
I'm not a big fan either, but you know what? If that's going to be the modality that gets it passed, then fine. If we finally have to pull ourselves out of the fucking Stone Age, I guess.
Well,
please, it's what the people want. Pass this shit. Let's move on with our lives. Collect some fucking tax revenue. Send some money to the failing fucking schools. Your roads are shit. Fix your shit, Missouri. And goddamn it, I live in Kansas, and it's a fucking pipe dream. Another little weed reference for you, because it's going to have to go federal before our backwards ass state will ever legalize it.
Oh yeah.
So Missouri, do the right thing. So at least all I have is a 15-minute drive, so I can go get a little something, so I can sleep at night, please.
Exactly. Kansas. What we just got fucking. Alcohol sales on Sundays, maybe 15 years ago?
Yeah, I remember when we were about at I don't know, drinking age.
Yeah.
A little before we were 21. We used to have to go search out people who would more or less let us pay them so they would drive to Missouri to get us alcohol.
Yep.
It was a disaster.
It was terrible.
Thank God we don't have to do that anymore, but still, come on. Let's join the rest of the fucking world in the 21st century, can we please?
Yeah.
All right, what do we have up next? All right. Travis, I think you got a list or something for us?
Yes.
Top 10 list of some sort. See, us folks on the Pinky and the Brain show, we're a little sucker for lists at times, so we are going to hit you up with some good lists from time to time. What's the one we have for tonight?
Okay, today we have cities where Americans get the drunkest. Top 10 cities with the highest percentage of adults who drink excessively.
Well, I would like to think...
Olathe, Kansas.
I would like to think...
That's not it.
Just the few of us right in this room had the capabilities to nudge the numbers up a little bit, but I'm assuming we didn't make the list. I don't know. So, Travis, you have that list in front of you. What do you say? Why don't we try to figure out, why don't we venture some guesses of what we think? Brandon?
Well, do you want to start like who's the 10th or the 1st or?
All right, so give me the parameters of how they measured this again.
Well, it just says the top 10 cities with the highest percentage of adults who drink excessively. So,
all right, so we're thinking
excessively
I was going to say, how do they define excessively?
That's what we need to know.
I mean,
well, see, if going to the doctor or from time to time a drug and alcohol specialist so I could go through my diversion and probation programs has anything to say about it. They always ask you these stupid fucking questions. How many drinks do you have per week?
True.
And we all lie.
Has anyone ever answered that honestly?
Yeah, we all lie, right?
Okay.
Everyone lies, right?
I mean, I almost felt that my lies were a little bit aggressive even.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right, so we got it. We got the parameters for it. So let's break this down a little bit. We have a couple of options. It's either going to be the cities where there's just nothing to do. So we can already cross a few cities right off the list. It's not going to be places like New York City. It's not going to be places like Los Angeles. No, I don't think.
No.
It's. What do you think? Probably middle of America, where there's just nothing to do.
Exactly. I think there's going to be a correlation between areas where there's nothing to do and an increase in drinking.
And the only other option are like party towns, like
party towns, college
anything
towns.
near college towns, anything near the equator, where people don't wear a lot of clothes but they like to drink a lot.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's go ahead. You venture the first guess, Brandon. What do you think?
You know, I'm going to say Midwest. I'm going to venture Ohio.
Well, all right. So
I mean, what else is there to do in Ohio?
I went and saw Lewis Black many years ago, and he always said that Wisconsin was by far the drunkest place he's ever been. So I'm gonna say someplace in Wisconsin. Travis, why don't you give us number 10? What's number 10?
Number 10, La Crosse, Onalaska, Wisconsin.
All right, I've never even heard of this place. So
La
like we
Crosse
said,
on Alaska?
Like we said, it's cold as shit. The only thing there is to do is cut a hole in ice and fish through that hole.
Yes.
So of course you've got to be drunk as shit to do something that stupid.
Oh yeah. Even just fishing in general.
Well, this is number 10 on the list, and apparently 23.8% of the population is considered a person who drinks excessively.
All right, so we might want to
3%. That is a lot.
Almost a quarter of the people from this poll drink excessively.
I think what we've got out of this list, if nothing else, is the top 10 places to do a live show.
Yes.
Whenever we're ready to take this show on the road, we're coming for you, Alaska. Who else are we coming for, Travis? Give me some more off the list.
Okay, number 9. I don't know how to say these towns. I have no idea.
See, that's half the problem.
Yeah.
They named these towns when they were drunk.
WAUSAU, Wasau,
that doesn't even
Wisconsin.
make sense.
Number 9 at 20.4%.
Wow. 20.4%.
All right, what do we have?
Okay, number 8, Grand Forks, North Dakota - Minnesota. So I assume that's some kind of like
that's so drunk of a town they couldn't even get the border correct. Yeah. So they're not sure which state.
They had to put a hyphen between them.
Jesus Christ! All right, these towns are towns nobody's ever fucking heard of. Let's skip to the top 2 or 3.
Okay, number 1.
No, let's start at 3. Let's work our way from 3 to 1.
Very good. Number 3.
Let's quick hit these ones.
26.2% of the population considered to be adults who drink excessively. Appleton, Wisconsin. Congratulations.
Woo! Wisconsin.
All right, who's number 2?
Number 2 with 26.2%. I don't know how to pronounce it again. EAU. Claire, Claire, Wisconsin. Wisconsin again.
What did they do? I feel like they made a big batch of alphabet soup, put a huge ladle in it, threw it down on a table, and that's how they name their fucking cities.
It's almost like a Family Guy episode. They just put a whole bunch of ideas in a pot, in 2 pots. We're going to connect them.
So
go on. That's exactly how Family Guy.
Let me get this right. Number 3, Wisconsin. Number 2, Wisconsin. What's number 1?
26.5%. Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Here we go.
Green Bay.
Drum roll.
So just to clarify, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of the top 10 places are either in Wisconsin or on the Wisconsin-Minnesota border.
All right.
We might have met our matches.
Well, Lewis Black, you do not lie, sir.
Yes.
He must like big butts.
You're right.
It's cheap.
He does. He has a bit about Wisconsin.
You think they drink excessively, and not only is there not anything to do, but it's very cheap to drink in these places.
Well, because
okay, so back in the day, the Kansas City Chiefs used to have their training camp in a place called River Falls, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah,
you made some trips there, right, Travis?
Yes.
I never got to make it out there. That's one of my greatest regrets in life.
Do you know who Danny Cleanscale is? Works for 810.
All right, he's a local sports guy for those not in the area. A local AM sports guy, Danny Cleanscale. Go ahead.
So we're in River Falls, Wisconsin for Chiefs training camp, and Matt Cunningham, our very outspoken,
boisterous maniac. Yeah. He's like the biggest maniac, like the maniac of maniacs.
Yeah. Pretty much. Very, very hard to explain. Very strange guy. Very strange guy.
Well, who thinks it's okay to go up to a guy you've never met and give him a noogie in the middle of a bar? That's what this motherfucker
So
did.
that's the type of guy he is, though. Remember, he would give noogies and tickle cab drivers and stuff like that.
Oh, he's borderline.
If you ever
racist.
want to feel wildly uncomfortable, just spend a night drinking with Matt Cunningham. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
All right, but there was another good story from him in Wisconsin that involved our former head coach Dick Vermeil that enjoyed a good cry from time to time. What was it that Matt did? Walks into a place. I don't know if they were doing a radio show or not. I think the story goes he walked into a bar where they were doing like a after training camp get together, and he walks in. Dick Vermeil's our coach, and he yells out, "I love Dick!"
That sounds like something.
This really
he would do.
happened? I hadn't heard about this.
There's families everywhere. Okay,
yeah.
This isn't like a gay bar or someplace where that would be appropriate. This is in the middle of the goddamn day. Luckily, everyone in Wisconsin's apparently wasted, so nobody remembered it.
Well, it was Matt and I had my parents there, and we meet these girls. There's like 4 of them, and it's just Matt and I. And they say, "Hey, why don't you guys come out with us? We'll have some drinks." And we say, "Sure, yeah, we'll come out." And then they're like, "Well, there's 4 of us, and there's only 2 of you." And Matt looks over at me, and then he looks over at the girls, and he says, "I guess we'll just split you right down the middle."
Well, I guess that's as good a place as any to end the news. Were we doing the news? Is that what we were doing?
Who knows?
All right. So the moral of the story is people like to get fucked up in Wisconsin.
Yes, I think that is the moral. Top four? Top 4 cities are in fucking Wisconsin.
No, there was more than that.
There was. It was 6 or something. Yeah.
Well, alrighty, folks. It looks like that's the news, and we're out of here. Thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't done so, please follow us on iTunes, rate and leave a review. It will help us out tremendously. You can follow us on Twitter at Pinky and Brain Show. That's Pinky, the letter N, Brain Show. And as always, you can find us at pinkyandthebrainshow.com for everything else. It's been real. It's been fun, but it has been real fun.
Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Pinky and the Brain Show. For more info, check out pinkyandthebrainshow.com.